Hey, what's up YouTube? Look what we got here. This is the piston flipper from Decoria. I bought this on DHgate for around 130 US. This knife is a gem, so I'm very excited to present this to you. I'll start the video with the specs, then I'll move on to the construction and the smoothness. I'll talk about my opinion of this knife. Hope you like it. So what we got here is a pretty big knife. We're looking at a handle length of 125 millimeters, a blade length of 98 millimeters, and a blade thickness of 3.5. That makes an overall length of 224 millimeters. When I first got this knife, I was really amazed by its size. So that's why I'm going to compare it to some more iconic knives to help you with the comparison. Here I have a Paramilitary 2 clone. It has the same dimension as the real one. So the Paramilitary is a little bit smaller than the piston flipper. I have here a Kershaw Skyline. The Kershaw is really small compared to the piston flipper. And finally, I have the Redemption clone. This one is the big one, not the MIG-Tech one. And even this one is a little bit smaller than the piston flipper, in length at least. So what I like most about this knife is really the construction, the material, and the action. So moving on with the materials, this knife claims to has a blade made out of S35 VN. I say claim because it's really hard to tell if Chinese companies are telling the truth. I've seen other model of this knife with D2 steel written on the blade, and in the description it was written S35 VN, or in the title at least. I know for a fact that this one is not D2 because I've sharpened a lot of D2, and it's a lot faster to sharpen than D2 and takes a finer edge. I did not test the edge retention. I only had this knife for 1 week. I cut some vegetables, some paper, I opened packages, but as I told you, it takes a fine edge. So let me show you with some thin paper. See, no problem cutting paper here. I've never had S35 VN, so as I told you, I cannot compare. But I'm really not disappointed with this steel. What I'm disappointed though is the factory edge. This is an edge I put on myself, but the factory edge was really disgusting. It was cutting paper like that, but it had a lot of teeth in it. A lot of grind marks. Even the first time I sharpened this knife, it made a zipper sound, like the blade was jumping on the ceramic. So I was really disappointed with the factory edge. The rest of the knife is made out of titanium. As you can see, it's a bead glass finish all over the knife with anodized backspacer in blue, anodized pocket clip, and anodized flipper that I did myself. This one was the same color as the handle, and I wanted to match the backspacer. So it took me 3 9-volt battery, so about 27 volt to get to this cutter, which is almost the same as the backspacer. It has a carbon fiber inlays. The carbon fiber on this knife is gorgeous. We can see all the little fibers when looking on this side. I don't know if you can see, yeah, where the machine cut the fibers. It's really well implemented. There's no glue, there's no machining marks. The knife is really slick, really well constructed. So this knife really feels like a premium knife. When you get this in your hand, it looks more beautiful than in the picture. In the picture it seemed a little bit dull. In real life it's amazing. My favorite part about this knife is definitely the action. The piston flipper, which I'll come back in a second, coupled with the ball bearings in it, makes for really smooth action, No resistance whatsoever in the blade. No force needed to action the flipper. Even non-knife people were able to open this knife on the first try with the flipper tab. The closing is really smooth. It feels really premium. This is mainly due to the new piston flipper. You see, it's a flipper that is not attached to the handle like your standard flipper like that. A good thing with this is when you're doing food prep or using as a eating knife, you don't have the flipper that sits in your way in your plate. Also, it's really unique, so it's nice to have this feature. I was saying that this knife is really smooth, but it wasn't like that when it arrived. This is the third knife I get from Decoria. With all three knives, all three weren't piston flipper like that, but with all three knives, they all had major control quality issues. This one, really smooth out of the box, decent sharpness, but if I had the bad luck to touch this part of the knife, the carbon fiber inlay or the lock bar, the knife wouldn't open at all. I had to use two hands and all my strength to barely put enough strength to open the blade. This is really dangerous and it's unacceptable for a $130 knife. I tried to fix it by taking this knife apart, cleaning the bearings, cleaning all the inside part, re-lubed it, reassembled it. It did not do the trick. Finally, what I did was I shimmed down the D10 ball. It did nothing. So I used a carbide tip to make a little ramp on the D10 ball hole in the blade. So I had to scrape some metal off the blade and then it fixed the problem. At this point I was really happy with this knife because look how this is smooth. But I cannot accept to buy a knife $130 and have problems like that with it. It's not everyone that would take their knife apart and try to take metal off the blade, take metal off the D10 ball to solve this problem. So this is my big complaint with this knife. But right now, as it is, it's a perfect knife. And I said at the beginning of the video that this knife was big. It's huge, but it has a really slim profile. So when you put this in your pocket, it doesn't go in the way of all your stuff. You don't feel like you're carrying a big knife. It's only big when you get it out in front of people and you want to cut stuff like your food or anything. So it carries very well. It's not too heavy. I think it's about 134 gram or something like that. I don't remember. And it's beautiful. So, do I recommend this knife? If you are ready to take the chance of having a bad knife like mine and maybe try to fix it, go ahead. This knife is amazing. It's beautiful in real life, it has a wonderful action, and it carries very well. So it could be an EDC knife for you. And it feels really premium, so it's an EDC gentleman knife. But if you don't want to spend the time and maybe getting a bad knife, don't buy this knife. I say don't buy any knife from Decoria. Every knife I got from them had some problem. So this was the review of the Decoria piston flipper. It was my first knife review, so please give me your feedback in the comment section below. And like and subscribe if you want more. Goodbye guys, hope to see you again.